What is up, Planeswalkers? Theorix6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. Don't forget to head on over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a great deal and helps support the channel. Today, since it is still during the Nox constructed, I figured I'd play a deck from Nox himself. This is a TurboLands deck that aims to win the game using Sylvan Awakening and one or more of Rallying Roars. This deck is really interesting because it wins out of nowhere. Your opponent just taps out and then you murder them. It's really nice. It's essentially just like a turbo fog deck where you attempt to draw some cards, get a lot of lands on the board, and then fog so that you don't die. After you've survived for a few turns and you have the correct number of lands and cards in hand, you go ahead and animate your lands and then swing at your opponent's face. And then they die. It's really cool. So I guess we'll just go through the individual packages. Starting off, we're actually going to be weird and start off over here with the fog packages. We're running 7. Pause for Reflection does cost 3, but you know there's enough ramp in the deck that this really shouldn't matter, especially since you're not going to be wanting to play the fogs early anyway. You're going to want to wait until essentially the last minute. Obviously, this changes with different decks. If you're going into a deck that has access to red, it's likely that you're going to want to start earlier because you can get burned out. But otherwise, you're going to start, once you actually could die. Yeah, so we're using 7 of these. Then we have a few ramp cards. We have 4 Gift of Paradise and 4 Growth from the Ashes. Growth from the Ashes is better than Gift of Paradise for the sheer fact that it gets you more lands that you can do stuff with immediately. So on turn 5, for some weird example, let's say you're going with an incredibly aggressive deck. On turn 5, you can kick a Growth from the Ashes and still hold up Root Snare, so that's very nice. Additionally, with something like Tatyova, Growth from the Ashes gives you that additional card draw. Gift of Paradise, though, does gain you some life, and it allows you to have 2 mana for the price of 1. So theoretically, if some reason your opponent has been shocking themselves a lot, you could kill your opponent by casting Sylvan Awakening plus Rallying Roar quicker than you otherwise would if you're getting mana screwed for whatever reason. But I mean, we are running, what, 26 lands? Yeah, so that shouldn't really happen, but Gift of Paradise really is mostly for the lands. Then, of course, we have Tatyova. Tatyova, not technically a ramp card, kind of a win condition insofar as it helps you draw to your actual win conditions. Nox has done several videos on this, and essentially what he says, if you want the deck to be, like, good, you take out, like, Tatyovas and add Teferis, because Teferis by themselves can win you the game. If you get to the point where you ultimate it, then you kind of just win. Additionally, Teferi is a more consistent draw engine because of the fact that you don't have to worry about either waiting for Tatyova and then playing a land at the same time as casting her, or having her survive. Teferi at least draws a single card the turn it comes out. And Teferi can also act as pseudo removal. So technically, probably should be running Teferi, but Teferi's no fun. I really enjoyed that he decided to play Tatyova, because Tatyova's a really cool card. Yeah. And then we are running a few board wipes in the main deck. We have some in the sideboard as well, which I will talk about. 2 Settle the Wreckage and 2 Cleansing Nova. Cleansing Nova can destroy artifacts and enchantments, which is one of the reasons that it is really helpful. But mainly, you're just going to blow up creatures. Same with these, which is really nice because sometimes you are going to have a lot of pressure on you, and you're not going to want necessarily to have to keep using fogs. I can think of words. So being able to blow up the board means that you essentially have more than one fog, essentially. We're going to hop and skip over this to kind of our card selection. We have 2 Sorcerous Cantos, 1 Thaumatic Compass, and 4 Treasure Maps. Treasure Maps are really nice because at a certain point, you will have too many lands. There we go. You will have too many lands, so you're going to want to scry your excess lands to the bottoms, and your treasure allows you to draw more cards. Additionally, you could use the treasure to cast Sylvan Awakening and not need the Rallying Roar. One of the biggest reasons that Rallying Roar is kind of necessary is that it untaps your lands, whereas Sylvan Awakening doesn't. So it kind of taps the 3 down. But if you have the treasure map and you have enough lands that your opponent can die to just 2/2s, then you can use those 3 treasures to cast the Sylvan Awakening. Yeah, and then, as I said, you can draw through these. Thaumatic Compass is actually really good because of Spires of Orazca acting as a pseudo-fog. You're going to be able to just keep one large creature at bay, and that will hopefully stem the tide to a point where you don't need to use your fogs until later, providing you such a large swath of time to get to your win condition. And then, of course, Search for Azcanta is Search for Azcanta. It finds you whatever you need. It helps you thin out your land of deck, or your deck of lands if you're drawing too many of them. And once it flips, it helps you search for either more fogs, board wipes, or one of your things. And the way this deck wins, as I've hinted at it, you play Sylvan Awakening, turns all your lands into indestructible, hasty dudes, and then Rallying Roar buffs them up by a little and untaps them. The reason this is so strong is if you have 6 lands out, you can Sylvan Awakening, making them 2/2s. However, 3 of them are tapped. Then the other 3 you pay for Rallying Roar, makes them all 3/3s, untaps them, and that's a total of, what, 18 damage? 3 times 6, yeah. So that's 18 damage. So let's say your opponent shocked once, they have no blockers. You can kill them as soon as you have 6 lands. And this is potentially happening earlier than turn 6, depending on your exact ramp situation. But what you end up usually doing, because your opponent isn't playing nothing, they're not just shocking themselves and leaving themselves vulnerable, often you will wait until your opponent, if your opponent's playing white, you want to make sure you are playing around Settle the Wreckage and Sealaways, and any other thing that you're playing against, you have to consider the instant speed removal that they might have. You know, if your opponent has a red mana and some other non-white mana up, you have to think, one of my land creatures, wait, why did I say red? I meant white. If they have 1 white mana and any other non-red mana, because you don't care about the damage, they have indestructible. Boop, boop, boop. They could seal away it. So you want to make sure, like, you put that into the calculation. Same with blue. They could blink of an eye or unexplained disappearance. You know, so you want to make sure of those things. Of note, they do have indestructible, so you don't have to worry about damage-based removal. But anything else you need to watch out for. We're playing 1 Arch of Orazca, helps maintain advantage against control decks and help it so that you can keep attacking them with Sylvan Awakening just in case the first one doesn't work out. And a single Evolving Wilds. And this is a mana situation. So in the sideboard, we're running, I think I put this in, because I think I was missing something that he was playing. I don't remember. But Sorcerous Spyglass, I love it. It hits Planeswalkers. Karn. I think essentially what the deck aims to do is, against control, these are functionally dead most of the time. Same with, like, Settle the Wreckages. So you take out a lot of these slow cards, and you bring in a lot of threats. So you bring in Vivien Reids, Karns, and Lyras, as well as Carnage Tyrants. And you just put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Same with against, like, mid-range strategies, where you're probably not going to need these as much if you have such a nice board wipe suite. You bring in the Blast, you probably take these out, and then you bring in things like Lyra's, maybe you bring in the Immortal Sun if it's a heavy Planeswalker build. You can bring in your own Planeswalkers if you want, but yeah. Karn, just a nice value engine. Lyra is a nice win condition against slow decks, or mid-range decks. Urza's Ruinous Blast, it exiles everything. It is helpful against indestructible creatures, but I don't think there are too many of those running around. And of note, it doesn't hit, like, Planeswalkers, because Planeswalkers are legendary now, so that's something to keep in mind. Vivien Reid essentially only gets lands in this deck, unless you're putting it in with Lyra and Tatyova. This is another card that could just be Teferi if you want to play it, but you don't want to play in the main deck. It does, for what it's worth, destroy artifacts and enchantments, and for some reason, if you end up playing Vivien and you get her to 8 loyalty, and you use it, your lands become slightly better for what it's worth when you activate them. Carnage Tyrant, you got to kill control somehow. And Immortal Sun, I kind of talked about, it just helps against the Planeswalkers. For what it's worth, it also makes your Sylvan Awakening land creatures larger. But based upon my based entirely upon the feedback that I got when I asked about best of 1 versus best of 3, it seems like people would like when the deck is like a normal regular deck. They would prefer it to be best of 3, because those types of decks, people are going to be more. This is where I'm speculating here. My speculation is that those types of decks, people are going to want to play long term. And playing them long term, they would like to see how to utilize the sideboard. Whereas these types of decks, these one-off types of decks, people either aren't going to play them at all, or they may not necessarily play them long enough for them to want to build the full sideboard. So people responded that they would prefer me to play these kind of different wacky decks in best of 1, and then the more regular or competitive decks in best of 3. Thought Erasure, again, we're going against Hitphilia, Velia, whatever. Cloud Eraser doesn't really take anything from us. I assume they're just going to take one of the ramp spells, but we have plenty more. They're on blue-black, so unless this is heavy Surveil, they might take Settle the Wreckage. Nope, yep, they take one of those, and I think that's reasonable. I would like to draw a land. The reason I kept this hand is because we were going second, and I had so many ramp spells. We also are running 26 lands. If we end up not drawing a land before this turn, I am going to be a little frustrated. Campaign is fine. I do think I'd just take out Root Snare here. Yeah, very, very unfortunate. I had three draws and I'm at 26 lands in the deck. Pretty bad. So their jig is up at this point. They're going to see the Rallying Roar and I assume take it. It's like the one thing that's different. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't take Rallying Roar. They just didn't know what my deck was doing, I guess. I guess they could also just be trying to make it so I can't get to a land situation where I can just murder them. Cool. Go ahead and cast this. Yeah. Could get countered. No. Let's see. 2 green. We only have 1 blue, so I guess we'll get another one. Okay, so what we would like here is top deck land into Grow from the Ashes. That's fine, I guess. Into a Cake Grow from the Ashes. We're going to get rid of Root Snare because we don't need it. We can Cake Grow from the Ashes. Still not in a great position. That is still not great. Opponent is on Sultai, looks like. Yeah, I mean, just imagine if we had that third land on curve. Like, we would have had 5 mana here. We could play Tatyova. I guess the plan here is cast Grow from the Ashes, cast Tatyova, and hope she resolves. I really don't think that we can do anything else. This is, like, actually the weakest I've seen this deck play. And it's all because we didn't draw lands. In a 26 land deck. And we had 3 turns. This is just a heavy Surveil deck. With Disinformation Campaign is what I'm seeing. I luckily do have... Like, if they just cast this, it's fine. Because I can just play Settle the Wreckage. Alright. Or I can discard Settle the Wreckage. I mean, I'm certain they have removal, right? I guess I'm gonna play Treasure Map. Eh. Potentially wrong. The reason I haven't conceded yet is the deck can just win out of nowhere. Like, actual out of nowhere. Why do I feel like my gain is so high? Let's see what opponent plays. Lazav. Alright. So they are playing Turbo Surveil. It's very strange. Do I get rid of a Tatyova? I do. Yeah. I want to do this before I draw. That only targets his own stuff, right? Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I don't want it. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Luckily, the opponent doesn't really have anything going for them yet. That is something technically going for them. Luckily, my deck doesn't really have good cards. Insofar as they're not going to be able to use Thief of Sanity very well. Don't care about that. all I need now is my opponent to tap out in such a way that I can top deck Sylvan Awakening and double Rallying Roar and kill them. Problem is, I don't think they're going to do that. I can't wait for, like, all of my Sylvan Awakenings to be hit here. Alright. 2 lands and something. Blood Operative. Sure. It's fine. Well, I did get Cleansing Nova for what it's worth, so... Are you gonna blow up their field? Then they probably counter it. Ooh, one fewer counter they can use on my cards, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know when... Like, it doesn't... There's no way to game the Treasure Cove, unfortunately. I guess I just do it now, so I don't have to... So I don't have to discard one of my Rallying Roars if I draw something not necessary. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the search for Azcanta. Because, essentially, I just need to... I need to top deck Sylvan Awakening, and I need to murder my opponent. I don't even know if I can. So my opponent has one thing under Thief of Sanity. Hopefully it's not a Sylvan Awakening, and I hope they don't get another one. Alright, two lands again. I think, unfortunately, my opponent probably just has their sabotages. I would love you to play, like, just tap out here. They didn't tap out. Alright, we're going to try and draw. We're probably going to end up conceding. Guess I'll cast Thaumatic Compass, because I can, if it resolves, I can at least stop their Thief of Sanity from hitting me. Yeah. So this should transform. I guess I'm just going to use it to... Oh, I'm going to unpass the turn, please. Oh no, I guess I would rather just keep this in hand so I can discard something. I'm still going to pass the turn. I wish I could see what was under this. So I saw a post on the subreddit, and essentially the person was like, I would love for there, at the end of the game, for there to be like a view battlefield button. I think with that, it should have like a view hidden information, or like, I don't know how you'd be able to do it, because like you don't want to show your opponent's deck exactly. But it'd be nice to see like the face down exiled cards, right? Like stuff like that would be interesting to see, or like even if it's just your opponent's hand, right? Like seeing the cards here that I can't see and my opponent's hand. Everything else, obviously, we couldn't do. But all right, well, this is literally the last thing. I need to top deck it, yeah, and I didn't. All right, that's unfortunate. Terrible early game. Didn't draw lands in a deck that had so many, and then I just couldn't draw the win condition. Very frustrating. Loston. I hear the crackling again. Why is it back? I'm like looking at all of my wires. I don't know if it's still around. It is still around. Why? I've not changed anything. I'm going insane. Alright, so we're against Mono Blue. Mono Blue can be a problem depending on when exactly they have Counterspell mana open. That said, if we can hit them with a Settle the Wreckage when they have their pants down, that'd be very nice. So another Marauder I'm fine with. For what it's worth, I do also have double Root Snares. Sylvan Awakening is nice to see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do think here I'm just going to keep up Settle. I would like to use Grow from the Ashes for maximum value. Sure. What the fudge? The incessant zzz. I can hear it now. Alright, opponent opting. I didn't draw a land last turn. I'm playing 26 lands. Sure. Opponent definitely going to sack the Storm Tamer for this, but that's fine. Why? Dark Spell with a target to you or... Well, that just gave me a lot of time. Fine. 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 I'm gonna get an island. I'm gonna top deck a land next turn. I'm gonna cast Tatyova. Tatyova's not gonna get countered, and I'll play the land and draw some more lands. That's large. Luckily, I have double Root Snares. I can win once I get to a good mana point. Yeah, you get to draw cards. As long as it's not a counterspell. Alright. Resolve. You actually drew a counterspell. Oh, thank gosh. Okay. This is helpful. Alright. Leave Tatyova alone. Thank you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now we only have 15 damage. We can start using roots. We kind of have to start using Root Snare. But of course our opponent can pretty much at any time just counter our spells. We kind of want them to counter this. Should I have treasure mapped? It's possible I should have treasure mapped. We can't do both. Oh, I should have attacked though. Yeah, that was dumb on my part. I should have attacked. Luckily, the Root Snare does stop the Curious Obsession from working. Unluckily, they have a counter. Let's hope that they don't have another one. Cool. there? 4. Library. I'm fine drawing the more lands. Alright, Cleansing Nova. I think I have to cast Cleansing Nova. Let's try an attack. I could have won, couldn't I? Yeah, I probably could have won. Oh, thank goodness. Not punished yet. Alright. We should be fine. Next turn we should be able to win. Especially since we'll get the Azcanta land. Now, importantly, our opponent can do something, for what it's worth. Our opponent can counter this. And then we have to build back up. Hey, we win! We did it! Hooray! I'm going insane. That's me in the corner. Oh, okay, that was fast. Bucky 63. That's me in the spot. Light. Let's see. I apologize for the zzz. Hopefully I'll have it fixed by tomorrow. Keep this. Got fine stuff. Is it mono blue again? I hate mono blue. No, blue black. Great. Treasure map? Yep. See what they do with the Surveil. They drop a Playcrafter. I think that's probably reasonable. Go ahead and get it planes here. Alright then. Yep. Is this a... Alright, so it's not a campaign deck. But Sylvan Awakening is probably gone. Yep. Alright, well that's a nice top deck. Alright, so we're not in a terrible spot. Which is not a great one. Another freebooter. Settle the Wreckage is my assumption. So that now they can just attack with impunity. How incredibly rude. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. I think I want to use Grove from the Ashes. I want to kick it. Are you gonna have another freebooter? No, just a thief. A dirty, dirty, rotten thief. Like our opponent's not putting too much hassle on me right now. I like that land. I will play this land. And I will kick it Grove from the Ashes. Let's get a forest and a forest. Alright, so we're at 3. Campaign is going to drop my paws. So let's see. If I top deck the thing, that's 7 times 3 is 21. So if my opponent doesn't have a counterspell, damn. So they only have one thing from Thief of Sanity. Right now, Sylvan Awakening would do 1, 2, not enough. Can we kick? Yeah, we can kick Grove from the Ashes. But we might need to keep a card. I mean, we have lethal if it resolves, so I think it's actually better just to keep the Grove from the Ashes. Is that right? We can get something with Azcanta. Yeah, I think it's better to keep up mana, especially since technically I can get another Settle the Wreckage and try to settle them. For what that's worth. Oh, they had my Sylvan Awakening. Yeah, they had one of them at least. But doesn't untap them. Alright, blue, green, green. Let's see if I can get a settle. I couldn't. Alright, well, I need to get one of my good cards. Did not get one of my good cards. I don't know, I did that. Oh, this gives them a reach. It is a sorcery. I tapped my mana wrong. Oops, I tapped my mana wrong. So the plan... Oh wait, I would have died anyway. Yeah, that was just mistakes all around. That was me being stupid. I shouldn't have kicked the Growth from the Ashes. I should have just cast the thing. I forgot it gave them reach. I could have just blocked. And then I would have gotten back good cards if they had attacked. Well, no, the problem is then if they attack, or if they choose not to attack, then I just have no more things. Yeah, that was not great. That wasn't a great game. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's hunky-dory. Everything's Humpty-Dumpty. Last game was real quick. And now they're making me wait. Do you know who I am? Because I don't. You always scare me in Magic Arena. Are we online? No, we're allegedly online. Can't cancel the thing. Don't know why the button's there if we can't use it. Thank you. Going against Brio. What we're really going up against is the infrastructure of Magic Arena. No. We're going first, and I don't think that was good enough. This is good. Treasure map. Grow. Part of our 2-card combo. Why is it that this deck is, like, harder to pull off than our 5-card combo? All we have to do is have 2 cards, and then just draw lands. And we're at 26 lands. Gift of Paradise. Yes, I would like Gift of Paradise because it is something I can play on turn 3, which could ramp me into a turn 4 Growth from the Ashes if I draw another land. And it's mono blue. That's fine, I think. Alternatively, I could play Growth from the Ashes so that I can use my treasure map. I think I still prefer Gift of Paradise. Yeah. Blue-black? Excuse me? I don't like where this is going. I will just search for Azcanta. They could counter it. They didn't. This is slower than using Gift of Paradise, but it's a better scry situation. Opponent's on blue-black? Is it pirates? Is it blue-black wizards? Is it just cards? Might just be cards. Getting sick of you, Thief of Sanity. Getting real sick of your crap. Stop taking my cards. For what it's worth, I can treasure map. If one of the cards I need is on top, I can technically just throw it to the bottom, because I can shuffle my deck sometimes. It's not great, but yeah, I don't care about the Thaumatic Compass. Insofar as I don't mind them taking it. I mean, I would love to have it, because if it did flip, then Thief of Sanity would no longer be really an issue. But I'd rather not risk going down a card and lose out on Sylvan Awakening, so. Taking a long time to make the decision. Taking a long time to make that decision, making me think that I'm not on... Why do you take so long to make the decision? Alright, so they got something else, which is frightening. Matrata. Alright. I need to keep dodging them taking my stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next turn I can have 2 more lands. Well, luckily they're not putting too much pressure on me. Okay, so this just like doesn't resolve. I heard that you need to use left shift, but I use left shift. Is it left shift or left control? Pass turn, shift enter. Shift enter doesn't work. So what it used to be is when you did this, it would just pass the turn, like period. And then because people were complaining, they changed it so that when you did this, it was pass until you had the potential to respond, when you had priority. And then allegedly they shifted that, haha, to be shift enter, passes the turn, period. It doesn't work. It's so frustrating. Because sometimes I do just want to pass the turn. Opponent, why? Why are you taking so long? Also, stop stealing my good cards. Cleansing Nova is a card. I assume you have a counterspell? If you have one, that's fine. Just cast the spell. Why do you waste my time? Why? Siren Storm Tamer does not work against Cleansing Level. Thank you. That's all you had to do. Alright, so now, as long as these two exact cards weren't Sylvan Awakening, I have... What, Arena, what's going on, man? Do you need to talk? Is everything okay at home? Because this is worrying me. I don't know, maybe my opponent's just new, and they're just reading, like, all of their cards. Someone also posed a comment, like, hey, how about an event called, like, Super Quick or something like that? And essentially, it was everyone, like, all of the timers just, like, cut in half, like, even more. It's just, like, you literally, like, have no chance to do, like, anything. It's just, like, play the darn game as fast as you can. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a jaded view. My opponents make me not think is very jaded now. I just want to transform this. Oh, I mean, I'll cast Tatyova because I don't really care if she gets countered. I just care that you stop taking all of my time. I'm gonna grow from the ashes. I lose out on these, so if my opponent was holding specifically Syncopate, that, you know, it's bad, but I like the idea of getting value. Because, like, it draws me cards, it's, like, functionally the same. And it means if I do end up casting the dang thing, I have more lands. Opponent, how are you roping on this? I think my opponent took two of my Sylvan Awakenings. Maybe I can just grind them out with Tatyova. Couldn't have had instant speed removal because they would have used it at end of turn, right? 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 The pain and anguish. Just chilling. Just chilling here with my opponent. I on the TV, 'cause tragedy thrills me. Whatever flavor. Come on! It happens to be like killed by the husband, drowned by his own son. Are you serious? Shot by his own son. She used a poison in his stick. Come on! I'm gonna get copyright infringement for singing too much. How does it take my opponent so long to make the simplest of actions? I'm going insane. This should have been like a 35-minute video. And instead it's going to be like a 45. Ah. Can you guys tell that it's exam time? It's exam season. I've lost my mind. My opponent doesn't have any extra timer because they've just roped every turn. Sure, deadweight. I don't care. Are you gonna put another on? Are you gonna kill her? Cool, I still get value. Can I please just, like, draw a card that I want to play? Guess I'm getting another treasure map. Opponent, why do you hate me? Is it because I'm Liliana and you're not? Are you envious of my Liliana avatar? I know I would be. No, I want to draw real spells. This shit out of here. Why? Opponent, are you for real? Don't look at me like I am a monster. Frown out your one face, but with the other... I'm dying. Can anyone tell that I'm dying? Anyone who stuck around past my awful singing, send help. Please. I mean, my opponent has, like, specific Dimir rares. I feel like they can't be that new. And it doesn't look like they're reading things. They have 2 cards in hand and 2 creatures on the board. Why? I just want to know why. Why, oh, why? I brought it back into the song. Oh my gosh. Vicariously, I am slowly dying. Oh, look, they did have one of my Sylvan Awakenings. Fudge off. I'm Settle the Wreckaging. Well, they had at least one of them. If this is another friggin'... So I guess they've just been doing math? That wouldn't have killed me. Excuse me, what? This draws 2 cards, I guess. Man, I'm getting real sick of this. I mean, my opponent, like, can't win anymore, right? They have 3 lands. What have I done? What have I done to deserve this exactly? Have I been a bad person? Did I push a lady down the stairs? Are you for real? I'm gonna attack you for 1, I guess. I know I have access to Azcanta. I'm going to do it end of turn. Opponent has 3 cards. For some reason, they chose not to search. Wow. I don't care. I so incredibly don't. Why are you hurting me? Bria, why? I'm experiencing nothing but pain. Hey, it fixed itself. Alright. Can I have one of my win conditions, please? Just F off. Thank you. My opponent's tapped out. I win now. I have so many lands, I don't even need to cast this, but I'm going to. Die. It's finally over. That took way too long. Oh my goodness me. Well, that was fun. As I slowly lose my mind. I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salmon, for their continued support. If you'd like to join them supporting the channel, you'll find links to that in the description down below, along with the link to my Discord server. Hope you guys enjoyed this madness of a video. Hope my singing didn't deter too many people. If you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription for Manpool, and cast a comment to the comment section down below. Until next time, I'll be one.